going by I'm the best that is, the best that was, the best that ever will be. There'll be none before me, there'll be none after me. Therefore, I am the one and only Jake Covey, and welcome to Wrestling Made Simple. We got an action-packed week this week with your news of the week, followed by a SmackDown and Raw review. And then we have a review of Royal Rumble 2009. We then have your drink of the week, followed by a reading from the Book of Rules and your Battle Droid of the week. Let's get into the news this week, as Mandy Rose has finally opened up about getting fired from WWE. She did a appearance on the Tamron Hall show. I've never heard of her. Alright. She said she wasn't told the reason why her reign was ending, but she kind of knew. She said WWE told her once to remove the content from her website, and she complied. But she said she has no ill will towards WWE. She was sad for her release, but she said she would return, and she says never say never. Shout out to Mandy Rose for keeping it professional, for being all around apparently a nice person in this ongoing endeavor by WWE. I wish her best of luck. I actually do want to see her back in the ring in WWE. I could see it happening easily. Is a former women's champion ready to come back to the ring and wrestle a current women's champion? Apparently Michelle McCool is throwing out the challenge to Charlotte. She said, real talk, respect, and I stay ready anytime. Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, call the flawless queen. I would actually like to see, I would love to see Michelle McCool return to the ring to have a match with Charlotte. I feel it would be a really cool clash of styles. And I feel it would be fun. I really feel like that is a WrestleMania match that could happen if they plan it right. And finally, is Chelsea Green heading back to WWE? Apparently, it is true. She has returned to WWE. She signed with WWE a while ago. She hasn't returned yet because they are waiting on creative plans. Apparently, the big talk is she is going to return at the Royal Rumble. I would love to see it. Apparently, Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, is currently scheduled to return to WWE TV. That is the talk. He may return. I would love to see these two, the power couple, return to WWE of the Independents. I think it would be awesome. That is your big news this week. I'm not going to talk about the Vince McMahon thing since there's so many things coming in every second. I cannot give a vital report on it now. All I know is Vince McMahon has returned to the company as a board member. He has tried to return as a creative team head, but that was not part of the contract, as Triple H is still head of creative and will be for the foreseeable future. Let's move on to SmackDown, though. SmackDown kicked off with the Bloodline. In the ring, Universal Champion Roman Reigns declared that he didn't lose last week. Sami did. Roman asked Sami why he promised to win last week and failed to deliver. Roman just unleashed on Sami Zayn and asked him if he wants to be a tribal chief and he wants to be the leader of the Bloodline. Sami didn't even get a chance to answer before Kevin Owens came out and made a challenge for the Royal Rumble 2023 live event. Roman agreed and said he wants Owens to disappear. Owens ending the segment saying he will see Reigns at the Royal Rumble and he'll see Sami when he takes his balls out of Roman's pocket. This is going to be the third time we've seen Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns face each other at the Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship, actually. They face each other in 2021, and they face each other in 2017 at the Royal Rumble. So it's actually a funny kind of trilogy when you think about it. I realized that last night as I was watching Raw. I'm like, wait a second. Haven't they already done this twice? It makes you think, and again, it's actually a good trilogy. I can't think of, they haven't had a bad match, though the Royal Rumble 2021 had a bad ending. I actually really did like the match itself. So, you know what? I'm fine with that. This could be a great match between these two. We then get Santos Escobar versus Kofi Kingston in a fun clash of styles. Really did work very well. Santos Escobar was able to pick up the win over Kofi Kingston, so Santos Escobar getting kind of a little push here. Very cool to see that. We then get Liv Morgan declaring her entry to the Royal Rumble. Nice little segment. We then get Karrion Kross and Scarlett versus Madcap Moss and Emma. Nice little match. Unfortunately for Scarlett, she did have a wardrobe malfunction during this match. Yeah. You can find out more about that on WWFOldSchool.com or on their app. After the match, though, is what everybody's talking about. Is Karrion Kross put a Rey Mysterio mask on Moss. And basically, to send a message to a WWE legend, he beat the crap out of him. So, I guess that feud's still going on, even though it's kind of fallen to the wayside a bit. I guess the feud's still going on between Kross and Rey Mysterio. Woo! We then get Charlotte Flair versus Sonya Deville in a SmackDown Women's Championship match. There was no question Charlotte was retaining here. Good match by Charlotte and Sonya Deville, but it's after the match that people are remembering as Charlotte grabbed the title like she was a heel and then looks at the ref and goes, "Oh, I'm the babyface," and has her arm raised, which was very funny. We get another vignette for Lacey Evans training in the Army. Marines. Actually, I believe it's Marines. I apologize. She's in the Marines. So that was cool to see. Fun to see Lacey Evans going back to her roots. Apparently the talk is Sergeant Slaughter might come back to manager. Love to see the Sarge back in WWE. We then get Ricochet versus Top Dollar in a qualifying match for the Men's Royal Rumble. Nice little match. Ricochet was able to pick up a quick win with a roll-up. And it was after the match, Top Dollar tried to show respect to Ricochet, but then the Hit Row turned heel. Adonis attacked Ricochet with a super kick. Top Dollar and B-Fab began to attack Ricochet, but Braun Strowman came out and made the save. I guess maybe they'll form a tag team, Ricochet and Braun Strowman. New team Little Big. Roman Reigns then called Sami in the locker room. Sami tried to apologize for Roman Reigns and said he isn't trying to be him. Roman said he doesn't accept Sami's apology. He said he should be the one apologizing. He said he shouldn't go off on people like that as a tribal chief. Roman Reigns is going to give Sami a chance to redeem himself as next week he will face Kevin Owens on SmackDown. We then go to your main event. The Usos versus Sheamus and Drew McIntyre for WWE Tag Team Championships. Fun match. Awesome to see. Usos were able to pick up the win. Both Ridge Holland and Butch tried to attack the Usos, but Solo Sikoa was able to pick up the win. The Usos used the ring ropes to kind of help pick up the win, but still a fun match. Good Tag Team Championship match. Fun SmackDown. Definitely a good way to build towards the Royal Rumble. I'm very excited to see this. Let's move on to Raw. As Raw kicked off with Kevin Owens in the ring talking about how he's going to beat Roman Reigns at Royal Rumble. And then he said how he is getting ready for everything. He's ready for the Royal Rumble. JBL came out, and this was fucking priceless. Because as JBL is talking, and then Baron Corbin comes out and is talking, all you see is Kevin Owens just with his head on the ring post. He's got his head just buried in the turnbuckle. Of just like, why are these guys still talking? Why are these guys still talking? He then challenged Baron Corbin to a match, which he was able to hit a stunner and pick up the win. Baron Corbin declared for the Royal Rumble as well. So you have Baron Corbin now in the Royal Rumble, along with Ricochet, Kofi Kingston, and some more people who announced later tonight. After this, though, the Bloodline attacked Kevin Owens. You had Solo Sikoa try to attack Kevin Owens, but he was able to keep him off with a steel chair. So it was announced that the Usos would be leaving the building, and Solo Sikoa would have a match with Dolph Ziggler. This was actually a fun match. We did get Little Miss Bliss coming out saying she's the face of evil and ready to do whatever it takes to win the Raw Women's Championship. But you then had Uncle Howdy come out and says, really, you're the face of evil. Don't forget who runs things, basically. That was cool to see. I really hope... By the way, he also had Little Miss Bliss say she has the world in her hands. I don't know if she is truly a heel or a face. I don't know if she's with Bray Wyatt, with Uncle Howdy. I don't know what's going on, but this could be great. We then get Mia Yim versus Bayley in an okay match. Nothing really to write home about. Bayley was able to pick up the win. I gotta say how much I hate this Me Chin, Mia Yim thing. Really pisses me off. I wish there was some better way to put on to it, you know? Bayley picks up the win. We then get Austin Theory coming out, cutting a promo on Seth Rollins. Austin Theory then says the future is now and he is forever, as Seth Rollins came out and on crutches and then drops the crutches basically and comes in and says he declares his entry for the Royal Rumble. Theory declared his. Bobby Lashley then came out and declared his entry for a Royal Rumble after spearing Theory. So now we have Theory, Rollins, Lashley, Ricochet, Kingston, Corbin, all in the Royal Rumble already. I hope they don't fill it up and then leave no room for surprises. You know, I hope that everyone does show up for... I hope there are some surprises in the Rumble. After this, we got Rhea Ripley versus Candice LeRae. Alright, match. Rhea Ripley easily picks up the win. There was no question that Rhea Ripley was going to pick up the win in this match. We then get Bobby Lashley backstage getting ready as he is happy to be back. MVP comes back and says, hey, if you ever want to get back into business, you let me know. I don't know if this means that her business is back. I would love to see it, but we have to wait and see. We then get Mustafa Ali telling Dolph Ziggler that they would have had a spot in Tag Team Turmoil if Dolph Ziggler hadn't signed up for the Solo Sikoa match. Would have been fun to see that, but I really feel like these guys need to be on their own, trying to be the single stars they can be. Solo Sikoa was able to pick up the win on Dolph Ziggler. I don't know what this means for Dolph Ziggler's future, but I would love to see Dolph Ziggler have one last main event run. Just one last main event run. That's all I ask. We then get Miz TV with special guest Dominic Mysterio. This was so idiotic. Everybody pointed out, I was watching on TV, I completely agree. Dominic looked like a young Conan. So, I thought that was cool. I thought that was a nice little send-off to Conan by WWE TV. I thought that was a cool little reference, but at the same time, this character is so stupid. Thought it was idiotic. This segment should just be forgotten, and it was definitely the worst segment of the week in wrestling. You get a Tag Team Turmoil match to come out next. You had the Good Brothers, great fight by them. But Judgment Day was able to pick up the win. You have Cedric Alexander come out, Judgment Day picks up the win, but Finn gets hurt. You have Dominic Mysterio come in against the Street Profits, and it was Alpha Academy who hurt Finn, but Judgment Day was still able to pick up the win. Great showing by Damian Priest, though. I'll give credit where credit's due. Damian Priest really showed up. But then it was the Street Profits coming in, and you had Dominic come in, and Dominic really showed what he has. I would give credit where credit's due, man. Dominic showed the fuck up. And if that's the Dominic Mysterio we could get every week, that's the Dominic Mysterio I want. He showed up, fought every second. That's the Mysterio way. That's Dominic Mysterio. Not this bullshit thing that he's been doing outside the ring. No. That needs to be Dominic Mysterio. If you want to make him a star and make him the next Rey Mysterio, there's your answer. Right there. Judgment Day picks up the win. And great tag team turmoil. Really helped clear my mouth after the Dominic Mysterio prison thing. Anyway, let's move on to Royal Rumble 2009. This was a fun Royal Rumble because it really helped build to one of the greatest matches ever. But first, let's talk about the other matches. You had Jack Swagger versus Matt Hardy for the ECW Championship. Jack Swagger able to pick up the win in a cool 10-minute match. I actually really liked Jack Swagger at this time. I thought this was a really different part of his persona that we did get to see. You then get Melina versus Beth Phoenix for the Women's Championship. This was a good match. You had different kind of moves. Actually, Beth Phoenix using Melina's own leg to hit her head. Thought that was cool as hell. But Melina able to pick up the win over Beth Phoenix in a 5-minute match. This next match is the one I meant. This match built to the greatest match of all time. As Shawn Michaels is accompanying JBL to the ring for his match with John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship. John Cena saying, "You ain't the same Shawn Michaels you were. You ain't the Heartbreak Kid." And it was this match where The Undertaker first came to Shawn Michaels and said, "Sometimes it's hell getting to heaven." And I felt that moment was what really began the build towards the greatest match in WrestleMania history. Maybe in wrestling history. Undertaker Shawn Michaels WrestleMania 25. Great match. John Cena able to pick up the win and retain the World Heavyweight Championship over JBL. But this is more about Shawn Michaels being Shawn Michaels again and being the Heartbreak Kid. The showstopper! We then get Edge versus Jeff Hardy when Jeff Hardy was going through his WWE Championship run. In no disqualification match. Unfortunately, this match would begin the turn of Matt Hardy. And it would begin the build to the lackluster match of the Hardys at WrestleMania. Matt Hardy would hit Jeff with a chair, causing Jeff to lose the match and lose the WWE Championship. Edge would win the title back and would go on to lose it in the Elimination Chamber to Triple H, who would go on to face the Royal Rumble winner, which I'm about to get to. This was actually a fun Royal Rumble, and definitely way more fun than what was next for the Royal Rumble of the 40-man, because I felt this really still had everything you needed for everyone. It still had the star power, with a couple of Hall of Famers showing up. But the big one was Randy Orton. Randy Orton coming in last, eliminating Triple H, pointing to WrestleMania, saying, "Hey, I got this now. I'm going to be the one to go on and main event WrestleMania." But it was what happened after of Triple H winning the WWE Championship. And finally, you get the match. Randy Orton, Triple H, one-on-one. The revenge match for breaking up Evolution, for turning on him all those years ago. Triple H finally fighting for what he finally is the face, actually fighting against Randy Orton, the heel. This is a feud that should have been so much better than it was at WrestleMania, but the plans that were laid at this Royal Rumble led to one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, in my opinion, WrestleMania 25. If I had to grade this show, I would give it a B+. There are B plus. I felt there were some things that dragged it down. Like there were some movements in the championship matches that I'm like, that's a little stupid. But at the same time, I felt like the star power of the rest of the Royal Rumble and the building to WrestleMania was actually spot on here. Let's move on to your drink of the week, a Crown Sour. Sticking with the Crown Royal theme, this is a take on a whiskey sour. So what you're going to need is simple 1/2 ounce of Crown Royal and basically 1.5 ounces of whiskey, of sour mix. Add some ice into a shaker, pour your whiskey in, pour your sour mix in, give it a good shake, serve it into a nice serving glass, garnish with an orange and a cherry, and there you go. It's a classic cocktail that everyone can enjoy. As long as you're over 21, please drink responsibly. Do not drink and drive. Do not consume alcohol if you are under 21 in the United States of America. And do not overconsume on alcohol. And now, a reading from the Book of Rules. Unlucky numbers. 3, most likely to be eliminated first. 9 and 12 have never made it to the final 4. A reading from the Book of Rules. And now, everybody, it is time for the Beltroid of the Week. I touched on it earlier of how much I hated the Dominic Mysterio prison gimmick, which sucks because you have the best moves Dominic has ever done in the ring being held down by the stupid gimmick. Dominic Mysterio's prison gimmick is the Beltroid of the Week, while his in-ring work is the highlight of the week. So congratulations, Dominic. You're both sides of the spectrum.
Uh-oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I have been the Big Guy. We are only 2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble this Saturday. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the ride going. Next week we will have the reviews of Raw and SmackDown as well. So let's keep the ride going along to WrestleMania in LA.